all, I thank the African Student Law Association for giving me this opportunity. I'm honored to have this chance to share the knowledge and what and all the experience I went through in this Web3 space and also in this decentralization. So first of all, when it comes to Web3, let me introduce myself. I am Ashwin from India, particularly from Tamil Nadu, who's a content writer in a Guardian Link and NFT ecosystem company. Previously, I worked in Polka Music, a Polkadot-based project, which is a music platform where I actually help them with the contents, writing white papers, technical papers, the token economics, and all that. So only during the pandemic, I came to know about these Web3, Metaverse, NFTs, and all those things. The commotion were all there, the noise was there. So I started to explore things, what was going on. And then I introduced myself into the community as a content writer and a content marketer. So now I'm working full time in a company called Guardian Link, where they are actually giving out products in the basis of NFTs. So let's get started. I'll just give you some little heads up on what are blockchain, what is cryptocurrency, what is an NFT, and what is the reason behind it, and all that. So yeah. So first, what is blockchain? The blockchain, it is a technology where ever since it has been the center of attraction among people for a while now. So the word cryptocurrency, the word NFT, the Bitcoin were all buzzwords for a long period of time. And if you see the underlying connection between all these, you will guessed it already, and it is the blockchain. So as the word suggests, where you can go with the block comprises of information about the transactions done within a given period, and also they differentiate from the other chain. So blockchain is overall is something related to the things which is related to the transactions, the money, and the technology which is correlated. So instead of being stored in one location, the blockchain is stored on the computers of every user of the given blockchain. Therefore, one doesn't need to worry about transparency, and each transaction made can be easily tracked by anyone. So this is how the blockchain work. So if you see a new transaction is entered, when the transaction is entered the system, it is going to be connected to all the networks, which is interconnected with all other blockchain networks. So it is widely accessible to everyone, which is public, and also you cannot erase once the transaction is made, or you can undo it. You can't undo it. Once a transaction is made, the transactions are wholly public and is interconnected with the other. So once the transactions are confirmed by the validators, and the blocks are then in the pile of history period, and the transaction is complete. So imagine like it is like a interconnected chain where as simple as it gets in a wider point of view, it gets complex too. So in a blockchain, it recorded as a block of data where each block is connected to once before and end after it. So this is how it works. So the perks of what are the perks of blockchain? It is about the records of transactions cannot be altered, deleted, or destroyed, as I mentioned earlier. And it is a record keeping database for the transactions. That is the digital currency, cryptocurrency. And the third point is it can be used in a decentralized way so that no third person has control. This is the difference between centralization and the decentralization. In centralization, there's a single authority wherein they create the rules where all the customers or users are going to follow that no matter what. They haven't got any chance to control their own accounts, and they are subjected to some taxations, regulations, or something related to it. But in decentralization, you are the owner, you are the control of the particular account, be it in a crypto wallet, the transactions made in the exchange as well as in wallets. So you are going to be the owner until or unless there is someone who is going to be control over it. So first of all, know the tech, know the rest. So what is the difference between? So this is what I actually explained to you. So the traditional financial system, say for example, the banks, the Web2 software applications, which is like PayPal, Venmo, Visa, Mastercard, and this image can give you a simpler explanation of how it works. Like if I send the money to a particular bank, if it's a transfer via PayPal, the receiver is gonna get. So the data is all with the bank, and the money is going to be transferred via this, and some transaction fee is going to be charged. But in decentralized finance system, it's completely the opposite, where in one you can easily send to the receiver directly without any medium of control in the association, in the organization. So if you have ever been frustrated by this bank services or support issues, you can switch to DeFi. That is where decentralized finance play the role. So centralized services are governed by an authority. The interest rates are lending are high, and holding an amount in a huge is of now use. So, so these are the differences. So DeFi eliminates the middlemen by allowing the people. So it is the digital version of what the banks are doing it now. So with no one in between to validate or approve the process, every transaction is in public view, and the anonymity is maintained throughout the world. So it is an open financial sector that runs on the software built on top of the public chain. So this is what it is. From anywhere with an internet connection, you can just lend, you can trade, you can borrow, you can do anything with it using the software. And every transactions, every records is already in the database. So you are the owner. You can check it whatever happens in the blockchain, and you can also see other person's transactions, but it's still anonymous. There is no data stored in it. So this is what the DeFi gives the liberty to use it more. So DeFi uses this technology liberating the centralized finance models by offering you the ownership. So these are the advantages: faster transactions, pseudonymous, that is, you are anonymity, and it is cheaper, eliminating the third parties, and the freedom of use. Anyone with a phone and internet connection can trade and transact. Thus, it removes the inability of you. So these are the small things. So in cryptocurrency, the advantages are it is trustless. You don't have to trust the third party, and it is transparent. You can check every transaction on a blockchain, and it is global. You can send and receive funds in to any corner of the world to anyone within a second, within a matter of seconds. You can control and manage your own assets anytime, anywhere. So this is how it's all worked in it. So let's jump into NFTs. So as you can see, this image is a collage of some real-time physical arts, completely designed and created by people, which sold for $69.3 million. This NFT collection was auctioned in Christie's auction in Paris, where it sold for $69 million. And the guy who bought it was an Indian called Meta. The reason behind for him to buy this NFT for this much cost is not just for the to support the artist behind this, who is called People. He bought it to create an awareness that NFTs can actually leverage the technology, both in terms of the utilities in the brand and also in the next longer run of the future. So what is an NFT? It is a There is a difference. Like there is fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens. So non-fungible tokens are the ones which are cryptographically generated in the blockchain that can be replicated with the brand. So to put in simpler terms, it is the digital version of the art, music, history, the special movements, the tickets, in-game assets, and you name it, whatever. So NFTs are just in speculation. People are just figuring out what and all use cases we can create using NFTs, what we can newly create among the brands, what new assets, what new collaborations, what new partnerships we can bring using NFTs. So it is still we didn't come up with a particular conclusion on what NFTs can do, but still people and brands are just exploring ways they can actually incentivize the people and the utilities. So this is what it. So the history of NFT, as you can see, the pixelated octagon of different shapes was the first NFT that was introduced in 2014. But then it was not given the right thing. So it was not yet wide famous in that particular year. So the use cases of NFT. The NFTs are particularly now used in gaming, which is like Aave, like Axie Infinity, Splinterlands. There are so many games like rev racing and all that. So the NFTs are widely popular now in gaming industry, which is also known as play to earn, where one can solve the in-game economics and the ownership of an avatar and the identity. So in NFT, there is a particular transaction ID and token ID and the contract address associated with the product. So once it is owned by you, it is completely unique to your wallet address until or unless it is subjected to some copyright purposes. You can even flex yourself by owning a famous brand NFT where one can showcase your what message you're coming to say, as well as the transactions, the money went through the royalties will be paid to some organization, or it can be used to again invest into the project. So NFTs are widely now used as a collectibles. Collectibles like the physical cards, like there are so many physical cards which can be collected that is now pegged to digital things. So the collection includes the sports or entertainment celebrity NFTs, games, the modern products like Nike, Prada, Adidas, and so on. So these are the characteristics of an NFT. And you can see, and as you always know, like the top NFT marketplaces are the OpenSea, Rarible, Nifty, Beyond Life, and so on. So the crypto wallets are the MetaMask, which is widely popular now. And let me show one thing. Um, so if you go to blockscan.com, where you can see a particular transaction of an address, that is, the whole transactions made in the blockchain will be clearly visible in this thing. So if you go to etherscan.io, in this particular address, we can see all other transactions that is being made and the time, the correct date, the from address, the to address, and also the transaction fee that has been charged. So if you click the particular transaction hash, it will going to see give you the exact receipt that is transacted at the particular time, as well as the transaction fee made and all that stuff. So the ether price is this. So this is what blockchain and the crypto wallets are having a great advantage of. So in blockchain, you can track anyone's wallet, and in your own wallet. You cannot be worried about these new things. So this is what it is. So let me show you. Yeah. So this is coinmarketcap.com, where you can actually track the cryptocurrencies, the coins, the projects, the what are all the new coins are just innovating behind this. So the Ethereum is a coin where Vitalik Buterin is the inventor behind this coin. It is subjected to proof of work system, which is going to be upgraded to proof of stake in a few years. So this is what I want to explain it to you, so guys. So these are the wallets like MetaMask, the Coinbase, hardware wallets. Hardware wallets are the one which can be stored in a pen drive like or a ledger based product, which wherein you can actually save the seed phrase, the passwords in for yourself, and you can store your cryptocurrencies in a hardware wallet, which is far more safer than a software wallet. So let me show you some one sec. Yeah. So this is VFriends. This is my wallet actually. A few days back, I actually bought an NFT for around $1,000. So VFriends NFT, Gary V is the owner. As you know, he's a famous influencer and CEO of VFriends NFT project. I actually minted this NFT collection the day before yesterday and bought it for $1,000, which is now worth for one Ethereum, which is $3,000. So what I'm coming to say is an NFT is something which is subjected to its own community, the people, and what basis, what utility are they working on particularly. So if you go to this, so if you go research on the particular website, you can actually know what are all the things they are working on, what utilities they are striving to make, and what are all the funds they are using it, and the royalties they are making it so far. So this is what I want to know. And please, if you are going to research about a particular project, you can always go to the Twitter. Twitter is a go-to website or a social media thing where you can research about a particular project, about their community, the Discord community, the Telegram, the Twitter, Instagram. So these are all the social media pages, but Twitter tops it. So after this particular crypto thing, Twitter is going to be the next social media go-to social media platform wherein people are going to slide in to know about more about the project. So coinly.io is going to give you some tax reports, which is this website can give you some insights about what are all the taxes going to be taken under for cryptocurrency transactions made or for the NFTs. So as you know, I'm from India. So they have recently regulated our they have recently regulated cryptocurrency in our country. So they not just regulated, they given a particular transaction taxation that is 30% for every transactions. So if we are going to particularly invest in a project Bitcoin for $1,000, if you make a profit for another $1,000, we have to pay 30% taxation. So this is actually a big disadvantage for the Indian investors, for the startup founders, as well as mediocre developers out there. So that is the 30% tax action, and also the 1% TDS that is going to be taken for every order that we're going to take in the exchange. So particularly on the policies made in our country is actually a disadvantage. So many startup company founders and many people in the tech are actually moving on to Dubai, where they have actually made it as a capital of cryptocurrencies. Dubai is always stand out as in every market. Take it in business, in crypto, or anything like that. Also, El Salvador country, Dubai, UK, Canada, Philippines, Thailand, Singapore, these are all the countries that are actually made possible and regulated with more and more installments of the BTC ATMs, the payments, BTC payments, the Dogecoin payments, and all that. So recently, during this Russia-Ukraine war, Ukraine has started adopting the cryptocurrency transactions as there was so much blockage in the bank thing, and this was the main blockchain was the only way for the Ukrainian government to actually get money through donations. So Ukraine government started to post related to the tweets that is going to be where they ask for the donation from the people who are actually using NFTs or any cryptocurrencies like that. So this technology is actually being widely used in a countries where there are people are whatever may be the situation, both in Russia and Ukraine, they have started adopting the cryptocurrency to actually uh, start what is working on it. So take for example in Russia, the all the centralized banks have banned them to not withdraw the money. So the Russia is going to adopt the cryptocurrency platform to actually start the thing. So this is a great platform and a wider chance for the people in Russia and Ukraine to actually get the donation as well as do faster transactions for people who needed it. So these are all the things I want to tell you guys. So the tech policies, as mentioned earlier, the policies are actually widely adopted around the world. So we are still under speculation. This is not yet. So we are very early in the stage. As you can see, like there are things where we have to taken care of. So if you ask the question like, are you already too late for Web3? No, you're not. We still have no play to earn games like with a scale of aesthetics similar to GTA, PUBG, or Fortnite. We still don't have a payment app that's as popular as PayPal or GPay. The metaverse is still under construction. The economies are still being constructed. The utilities are being built, and everything is being built from the ground up. We are yet to challenge and match the scale of centralized banks by using DeFi, the decentralized finance. These are just a few instances of what Web3 is capable of. There are so many use cases that are still yet to be discovered and are being worked upon. If you are now actually exploring the Web3 space, you have arrived early. So cheers to the people who are actually exploring it and investing in cryptocurrencies and making profits, feel free to ask me if anything in the message section. And I think that this small heads up give a thought to your minds. I will share the informational social media links and other stuff in the chat box. And thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Please, who is moderating this
Thank you so
section?
much. Do we have the next speaker?
Okay.
Mr. Samongu, you can actually take up the floor. Thank you so much.
Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Sam. Can someone hear me? Can I be heard?
Yes, you're clear, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to thank the person that just presented, my colleague. He has done justice to the topic, especially NFT, which is what I'm supposed to present today. So when you look at the table of contents, you will see that he has covered the field. So that makes it very easy. So what I will just basically do is I will just jump and then maybe speak on the roles of lawyers in NFT, since he has spoken on what is NFT, characteristics of NFT, the use cases. He also talked about issues associated with NFTs, such as the issue of regulation, scam, and then the unstable nature of the NFT. That's the valuation and all that. So there is no need wasting much time on it. So I will just move to the last slide, which is the role of lawyers in NFT. Since we all are lawyers, I believe this is African Law Students Association. So as a lawyer operating in NFT, you have a lot of roles to play. Issue bordering on intellectual property. Thank God you people said yesterday you had presentation on IP, on how IP affects NFT. So as a lawyer advising somebody participating or trading in NFT, you have to factor that. You have to, if you're advising the artist, then you have to let the artist know that, of course, selling the NFT does not mean selling the copyright ownership. Then if you're advising the buyer, you have to consider what the buyer intends to do with the NFT, whether the buyer intends to resell it or not. So in which case, if the buyer intends to resell it, then that means that the agreement you are going to draft with the artist, you are going to ensure, that the artist gives license or, a kind of sell off his copyright in the NFT so that the buyer will be able to resell it subsequently. So as a lawyer, you have to be well at home with the intellectual property, how the intellectual property in your country, because I understand this is Africa. So what the law says about intellectual property in your country, then you try and bring it up to speed with NFT and be able to advise your clients with respect to that. So as a lawyer too, you need to advise the participants in NFT about data protection. So the use of personal data, how the people running the platform, because when you look at blockchain, it infringes on certain sections of data protection. The blockchain runs on a decentralized technology, and the issue of immutability, in the sense that once a block or once transaction has been entered in the ledger, you cannot delete it. And data protection law says that a data subject at all time must have rights to be deleted or to be forgotten. I mean, must have right to be forgotten, and all that. It can request you to delete his or her personal information. So in that instance, you should be able to advise the platform either to keep the personal information, maybe the personal information of people participating in the transaction off-chain, instead of entering it in the blockchain, so that when the data subject requests that his personal information should be deleted, then it will be easy for them to delete it. I don't know whether you people are getting. So these are, you advise them on having privacy notice. You advise them on having robust security. I mean, yeah, such as encryption. Blockchain already uses pseudonymization. So you advise them to ensure that they have strong encryption, so that I mean, the platform will not be susceptible to attack, issue of phishing and all that. So these are the things. If they are processing personal information that is of high or that is very sensitive, such as age, the use of your credit card, your health information, religious information, or political views, all these things, if they are processing it, then you need to advise them to know whether they have to carry out data impact assessment to determine the risk, whether the information or the way they process the information will result to high risk to the rights and the fundamental rights and freedom of data subjects or not. So these are the things you can advise stakeholders participating in NFT with regards to data protection. So you also need to, ensure that while you are drafting agreement between the buyer and the seller, you ensure that you put a clause, maybe a warranty, ensuring that the link that leads to where the NFT is, because in the blockchain, the NFT is not in the blockchain, but the details are in the blockchain, how the NFT moves, the owner and all that. So usually there is always a link that goes to the platform or the community where the NFT is, such as OpenSea and other CryptoPunks. So you must be able to put a clause in the agreement that we make the seller liable at all time, that the link should stay live at all times, so that when the buyer has purchased it at certain period of time, let it not be that the buyer will not be able to access the NFT and all that. So you should be able to advise them on tax, issues bordering on digital tax. You have to advise them, and then you need to advise them on the provisions of law in your area. For instance, here in Nigeria, we don't have any law that guides transaction in NFT. Maybe we rely, when transactions on NFT come, we rely on traditional law and see how we can, bring up provisions and relate them and be able to advise clients. So you have to advise them whether it's acceptable in your country or not. In Nigeria, we have regulations or a circular from CBN banning transaction in cryptocurrency. NFT, strictly speaking, is not a cryptocurrency. So you should be able to advise the person properly. While we can tell them that you are free to transact, there is no secular or law banning transaction in NFT in Nigeria. You should also let them know that transacting, you cannot effectively, run NFT without the use of cryptocurrency and all that. So these are the things you have to consider as a lawyer for you to effectively advise your client. So that is all from me. Just in summary, you have to be very knowledgeable in IP. You have to have knowledge in data protection, tax, digital tax, as a matter of fact, and then general knowledge of contract law for you to be able to operate well in this ecosystem as a lawyer. So if you have any question, you can ask me why I allow the next person to come in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that well presented presentation. There's only one question in the chat box for you in relation to your presentation. And the question is, when you said that an artist is able to sell the work and still retain his copyright ownership privileges, did you mean that the work is what is going to be sold in the work is the right of is the economic rights in the work, or the moral rights in the work? I didn't quite clear get it, because the work does have economic and moral rights, which include for economics the right to resell, and then for moral the right of recognition for the original artist.
I think the easiest way to answer your question is to give you, just to use an analogy and answer it. So if let's say in your country, an artist releases a song, maybe those days we used to buy CD or DVD plate. Now, when you go and purchase that CD plate, you have a right to use it for yourself alone, but you cannot resell that CD because the copyright ownership still resides with the artist that released the song. So what the artists, the selling of, or you purchasing the CD, what you just purchased is the right to just use that CD for yourself alone. So the same thing applies in NFT. So where an artist has created an NFT and you purchase it without, purchasing or requesting that the artist relinquish the copyright, what you have just purchased is the right to use the work. So you can upload it on your what's it called? You can upload it on your DP, use it on your social media. You can have a bragging right over it, but you cannot resell it because you do not have the copyright. You do not have copyright to resell that. The copyright still resides with the artist. So in order to ensure that you can sell it at any time, especially if you are a collector that intends to buy an NFT, keep it and wait till the price increases so that you can resell it, what you will do is to ensure that in the contract that will be drafted between you and the artist or the owner, the first owner of the NFT, that your lawyer should be able to couch the clause in such a way that the seller is transferring both the owner and the ownership and the copyright ownership to you. So at that instance, you now have the right to use it for yourself and the right to sell it. It's possible that can happen, and still, depending on the agreement between you and the artist can still have some royalties that will be accruing to him for each resale of the transaction. So all these things borders on the agreement and the expertise of the lawyer in drafting the agreements. So I don't know if I answered your question very well. There is a difference between ownership and copyright ownership. That's just it.
Yes, you did actually answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have any other questions from the attendees? Please, you can ask the questions before we call on board the next speaker. Okay, I'll take your silence. I mean, there are no questions. Can we have Mr. Godwin to come on the panel and actually do his presentation? Mr. Godwin, here on the platform, we are calling for you.
It looks like Mr. Godwin is not in.
Okay, since Mr. Godwin is not on the platform, I would like to call upon Mr. James Apoleko to give us his final remarks for the meeting so that we can actually come to a close.
Hello. Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, continue.
All right. So thank you so much for the opportunity once again. My name is James Samporiko. I'm a Ghanaian and random based. So, and also a law student and vice president of the African Law Student Association. It is a very great pleasure to have our great speakers impute knowledge into our already existing knowledge that we have so far as this topic for discussion for this two-day event is concerned. It's so insightful, and I thank them so much for giving us the opportunity for us to reach out to them and to teach us as law students as we are looking up to them. So I think it's a very great opportunity. I've learned so much, and we are going to use it to advance ourselves. And we pray with them that as we move along, we'll be coming their way to solicit for their views for further conferences, okay, so that they can enlighten us as we move along, because day in and day out, principles change, you know, and we need to be advanced, we need to be up to date on this particular topic. So I really appreciate each and every one, all the speakers for yesterday and today, and to all our participants or attendees, and most especially to our host. Okay, so I do appreciate everything. Thank you so much, and God bless you for the opportunity. And I've learned so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Vice President. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Once again, I would like to communicate my gratitude to everyone. It seems as Mr. Baldwin, who had network issues, has just come on board. So I think we can give him an opportunity to present his work, then we can actually come to a close. Mr. Godwin, are you able to present your work? Mr. Godwin, are you able to present your work?
Hello?
We can hear you, sir. Mr. Godwin.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's nice having you, everyone, here. I'm Godwin by name. My full name is Paul Godwin. I've been in the field of crypto for like, let's say more than 5 to 6 years. I started my crypto journey around 2016. I hope some of you guys heard about MMM and stuff. Then the crypto scam. Then that was when I got to know about Bitcoin. My first experience about NFT and stuff started in the early January last year. That was in 2021. I stumbled on NFT. What do you mean by NFT? NFT is a system of is a blockchain program of which creators like artists, musicians, creative people come together through a script. They write a blockchain script through smart chain contracts of their work. So in the course of doing this, we've come to notice a situation whereby there are increasing demand on brand, as in people are coming to the field NFT, as in they want to explore NFT. Then you come to hear about Metaverse, you come to hear about Web3, you come to hear about decentralization, you come to hear about DAO. What do we mean by DAO? DAO is just like a decentralized autonomous organization of people, which is center of governance and voting, like a utility set of something revolving on the ecosystem. As lawyers, we can leverage on this new sector, as in this Web3, the Metaverse and NFT sector. Like, I'm a founder of a new project called Monies. If you're ardent user of Twitter, you might have come across the project on Twitter. As a lawyer, you can find a niche on this sector, like coming on board like as advisors to projects, or like coming on board like creating a situation whereby you can tax, what's it called, NFT, that is taxation. When I was in the university, I did something around law of contract and stuff. So a situation has arisen in the field of NFT whereby government and some other brands are looking for mechanism of taxing NFT. If you hear, they will say, I invested like $300 on this artwork, and after some time, the artwork did like 1,000x run and stuff. So you had the situation of making such gain. So the government is not making anything. Let's say from 2021 to present day, I can always say most government around the world are finding mechanism of getting tax out of this return people are making from NFT. As lawyers, we can actually find a niche, as in carve a situation whereby you check how can we tax NFT? How can I come on board like an advisor to a project? Or how can I find a situation whereby in this project or in this industry, I'll find a niche that will carve out a career? It's a growing industry. It's just, let's say, a baby industry, like where you talk about the new age of computer discovery around the 90s, where people don't know where we are driving at. But presently, that's the situation we find ourselves in NFT and crypto world in general. So as lawyers, we can leverage a situation whereby you go into projects. You must not be a mastermind, as in you know 100% about the field of NFT before you can actually interact with most of these projects. Just being on the safe side that you've done contract law, you've done constitutional and stuff about the framework you guys do in your various institutions. You can find actually resources on YouTube, on Google, on Twitter, on Discord, and so you liaise with the community and find a situation whereby you solve all this problem I'm saying. Is the present of what's it called? Is the present of situation whereby we have problem that people will try and make some cool, what's it called, return from. You can actually make what's it called, mind-blowing return whereby you didn't create a value. Like Elon Musk now is going on space, doing this, doing that. Nobody is seeing the vision now, but when it begins to materialize, let's say in the next 50 to 40 years, then you begin to say Elon Musk has achieved so like that. So is the situation we are in now in NFT, in the metaverse. You might hear of what's it called? I just bought so plot in the metaverse. What is it trying to tell you? That you're trying to create an identity in a situation whereby banks are even going on, what's it called, exploring the metaverse, like Goldman Sachs and Chase Bank and some other institutions around the world. So as lawyers, these are a few mechanisms I have what's it called, spotted, and I feel we can share our experience together. And if you have any question, I'm up to answer you people for like 5 minutes. That's this little I can just say about my NFT journey. But a comprehensive listing is on my website. I make publication every week on my website. If you don't mind, I could share the link across to anybody who can just give the use. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Godwin, for that insightful presentation. We've also drawn our minds to the various platforms that you mentioned, as well as systems of laws such as taxation, which becomes very, very important for government, especially in the generation of revenue, and how the systems may be framed in line with in line with NFTs as well as blockchain technology. We really, really appreciate. If we have any questions from the participants, you can actually come through now before we close the meeting. Okay, I take it. If there are no questions from the participants, I would echo the words of my vice president. I really do
Hello,
appreciate
please.
for everyone. Yes,
Yeah, yes, it's a
Mr. Vice
plea.
President.
I think Mr. Godwin in his presentation made mention of the fact that he can share with us a link where we can learn from his publication. So I'm asking if it is possible for him to just share the link with us now so that you have access to it. Thank you.
Okay, I believe Mr. Gordon has shared the link. I also post it on the other platforms so that those who are not a part of it can also follow it up and just see and learn from it. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming through. To the speakers, we're most grateful. We're hoping that this is not the last interaction that we have on this particular topic. And as my vice president said, we really do need somebody to guide us through. So to everyone else who was a part of this webinar, we appreciate your time and sacrifice. And we hope that the next webinar that will form in these criteria or any other criteria will receive the same positive feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really love
Thank
the
you for
interaction.
having me.
Hope to interact with you in future. Thank you, everyone.